Good afternoon, hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. My name is Daniel, this is George Fox. George is a bike fitter, he's a coach, he's an elite time trial rider, and today he's going to give us some top tips for kit. I know training's good, but what can you buy that's going to make you faster? Now George, you've helped me out with quite a lot of videos today, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you £1,000, okay?
Thank you.
There you go. How would you spend that £1,000 on equipment or things to make me faster, or you faster, whoever faster?
Number one, always position. So bike fit is the first thing. I would say that obviously. Position is one of the things that is going to give you the most amount of performance. If you get it right, it goes really well. If you get it wrong, it goes really badly. Has more of an impact in triathlon as well, because obviously you need to be able to run off it. So the whole sport is efficiency. And all we're trying to do from the bike is get you around on as little power as possible, but as fast as you can. And the only way we can do that is aerodynamics. So bike fit, always rule number one.
How much is a George Fox bike fit?
£220, okay. Or £290 if you want to include the custom carbon insoles.
Okay, so we've got about 700 quid left. Okay,
exactly. Good. Number two, skin suit. Main reason is what you're covering the bike fit in. So obviously, if we're talking about our body being 80 to 85% of the overall drag, then this bit is what's covering that. Therefore, is also extremely important. Yeah. Skin suit, tri suit, obviously depending on what you're doing, same thing. It's really, really, really crucial.
So we see lots of marketing spiel quoting numbers, but what genuine numbers have you seen in the wind tunnel between like a good and bad skin suit?
Good and bad suit, 30 seconds. Over a 10-mile time trial.
Yeah.
Like it can be, honestly, it can be massive. And I've got suits that I've tested that have maybe even been a little bit more, depending on what you're trying to use it for. And the biggest thing for me is always make sure the fit is right. So a well-fitted skin suit, so it doesn't necessarily have to be custom fit, but ideally custom fit, but a well-fitted suit will nearly always outperform something that off the shelf is wind tunnel tested and is really fast, but actually fits really badly. So always get the fit right first.
I've seen many time trialers going to like seamstresses and stuff and having things altered rather than getting them custom fitted initially.
No, but it's something they should do. So when I have my suits made by Impsport, the experience basically is go to Impsport in Lincoln, sit with your bike on the turbo in your position, and Andy and Pete there will literally, like you're having a normal suit made, they will take it out and they go, right, we're going to take 20 mil out of this, and you end up effectively with your pattern. So when I get my suits now, rather than a size, it just says George Fox. So it's, the custom fit side of it is something that's becoming more normal. Yeah. And it's like we said, if it's that important, it should be something that we're all doing.
Okay. All right. So what we got left, about £400-ish? Yeah. Are you going to go over budget? I think you're going to go over budget.
I might do, maybe.
What next?
Helmet.
Okay.
Right, so the main reason is, obviously if we look at the position here, if this was a time trial bike, I've got my hands out here, but my head is here, and my head is what's in front of my torso. So if we're talking about the body being that 80 to 85% of the overall drag, the head is what directly impacts how that all works. So if our head's in the right place and with the right helmet on it, then actually it's going to positively impact the rest of our torso as well. So that's where we look at helmets and helmet choices. There are certain things we need to consider. Obviously time trialing, we probably don't need to worry about things like overheating because we get off at the end and we drive home. Obviously triathlon, you need to get off and run half marathon, so it's a bit different. Things like misting up as well. Obviously you guys are wet when you come out of the water. That then instantly might make the visor mist up. So you might need a visor that goes on top of the helmet magnetically. Some helmets can't do that. So we need to consider what you're using it for, but also look for the best option that actually fits the position perfectly as well.
So are you looking visually based on the time you've spent in the wind tunnels? Like, is there such a thing as oh, that's probably going to be an okay helmet? No. Okay.
So there's certain helmets that work well for a lot of people, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be perfect for everybody. And so no, there is no what is the fastest helmet. It's just what's the best for you. And the definitive way of knowing that is to go to a tunnel, which obviously is not something that is always plausible. Exactly, right? It's not within our budget now. So we're looking at making sure that we've got something that bridges the gap between the back of your head and your shoulders, and sitting there nicely whilst you can still see down the road as well. Yeah.
There are helmets like the Bell Javelin that still perform very well, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of helmets like that will work for a certain type of position as well. So it's something we've seen quite a lot of certain body shapes. One specific helmet might work, or the concept of a helmet, like a wider helmet, for example, might work really well for certain people and certain body shapes. So yeah, if you do some research, you might be able to find what those answers are.
Okay, let's say we get lucky then and the helmet's 100 odd quid. We've got 300 odd pounds left. Where are you spending that?
That's gone well with the helmet.
eBay.
Next one is tyres. Right. So a good set of tyres versus a bad set of tyres can be as much as maybe 5 watts a tyre. So if we're talking about spending nowadays, what, £150 on tyres, that's a lot of watts for not a lot of money. So yeah, tyres, absolutely something that I would spend the money on in a heartbeat. And again, it's like we said earlier, it's about choosing the right tyre for the road you're doing. There's no point in taking the fastest tyres to a course that's got terrible roads, because you're probably just going to puncture, which is going to give you a really bad day out. So it's about looking at the roads you're going to ride, hopefully with some prior knowledge of those courses, and speak to people. Ask people that you know that have done those races before, and see exactly what you're going to need.
Okay, then couple of £100 left. Will we do anything on the drivetrain, or?
Probably. I would, if it was my money, I would spend it on waxing the chain first before going to jockey wheels or ceramic. I think you're going to get more of a benefit from that. Even if some of it's placebo as well. It's nice when you spin the cranks and it all works really well. The ceramic upgrades that you can do to bikes, there is a benefit. But if we're talking about just spending £1,000, it's probably not where I'm going to put the main focus, to be honest. Okay.
Are there any big savings out there that are a lot of money that you'd still think, okay, if money was no object, I'd definitely buy that?
Oh, it's tricky. We know that the extension's at the front end, right? So it's more and more manufacturers will start to have integrated extensions on their bikes when they sell them now. It's tricky because it limits the bike fit. But in my opinion, as a bike fitter, manufacturers have been limiting bike fit options for so long now, they may as well carry on. It's the reason, if you look at most bikes, especially for time trialers more so, the front ends on them now are completely custom. Very few bikes actually look stock anymore. But yeah, we know that the extensions at the front end, if you take something that's bare stock and change it to something that's a lot more integrated, a lot more aero, with more of a shape to it, you could be looking anywhere sort of between 6 and 10 watts really. Wow. Which might not sound like a lot, but it's also, that's position dependent, because if you're like this, it might have less of an impact than if you're like this. So it can change person to person.
I know how hard I've worked for 6 to 10 watts over a winter before, so that is a lot. George, thank you very much for all those tips, and I can speak from experience. The first time I came to see George for a bike fit, we spent a lot of time talking about head position and doing things with the helmet to change angle of the helmet, and I know that made a big difference in how fast I'm able to ride. So coming for a bike fit isn't just, you need to ride in this position, it's also the knowledge about, and do this with your shoulders and do that with your arms. So there's plenty of experience in that noggin, you need to just squeeze it out when you come and see him. Thanks, George.
You're welcome.